The iron is cold against her throat. Bernice is 29 years old, and with every breath she feels the weight of the collar pressing into her windpipe. It is heavier than it looks. Thick, unyielding iron shaped to rest just tightly enough that breathing is always a conscious act. She can taste rust on her tongue, mixed with the faint metallic bitterness of old blood. This collar has circled many necks before hers. 100 at least, perhaps more. 17 days ago, she was Queen of Cappadocia. 17 days ago, she ruled a kingdom that had remained independent for 3 centuries. 17 days ago, she commanded armies that had resisted Rome for 7 brutal years. She was the woman who had stood before Emperor Tiberius's legate and said, without hesitation, that Cappadocia would burn before it bowed. Now she kneels on a stone floor in a Roman military camp. Her wrists are chained behind her back. The iron bites into her skin when she shifts her weight. Her hair has been cut down to rough stubble. Roman custom dictates that long hair on a captive queen is dangerous. It can be twisted into a noose. A woman might choose death before Rome can display her properly. Rome does not permit that choice. Around her, the camp wakes. Orders are barked in Latin. Horses snort as they are led to water. Armor clatters. Wagons creak under the weight of plunder. The air smells of leather, sweat, smoke, and something fouler beneath it all. The cell stinks of urine, moldy straw, and decay. The sweet, rotting smell beneath everything is impossible to ignore. The previous occupant of this cell did not survive long enough to be moved with the others. They dragged the body out 3 days ago, but the smell remains. A warning. A lesson Rome does not bother to explain aloud. A guard watches her through the iron bars. His eyes move over her body slowly, methodically. Not lust, not hunger, calculation. Roman soldiers look at captured women the way craftsmen look at raw materials. What can be used, how long it will last, what condition it must be kept in. Bernice has learned to recognize that look. She has learned that the triumph itself is not the punishment. The triumph is merely the ending. What comes before it is where Rome breaks you. Footsteps approach. A man stops outside the cell. He is perhaps 45, wearing the armor of a senior officer. His face holds the particular expression of bored cruelty common among Roman military professionals, men who have inflicted suffering so long it has become routine. He does not introduce himself. He does not need to. The guards snap to attention when he arrives. "You are the Cappadocian," he says, not a question. "The one who killed the legate's nephew at Mazacca." "I gave the order," Bernice replies. Her voice surprises her, steady, controlled. "My archers carried it out." "He died bravely, if that matters to Rome." "It does not." The officer studies her like livestock. "What matters to Rome is that you will walk in Germanicus's triumph 8 months from now. What matters is that you will be displayed as proof that even queens who defy the legions are eventually brought to heel. 8 months. The words settle into her mind with physical weight. 8 months of captivity. 8 months of being shaped into whatever Rome requires. "What happens to me between now and then?" she asks. The officer smiles. "You will be prepared." The word is delivered lightly. "Prepared for the triumph, prepared to perform your role correctly. Some of this preparation will be educational, some of it will be less so." He gestures. The cell door opens. A guard hauls her to her feet. His grip is brutal, fingers digging into muscle hard enough to bruise. "The general wishes to see you," the officer says. "He has specific plans for the Cappadocian queen. You should feel honored." Most captives are processed through standard procedures. You have attracted personal attention. Personal attention. She is led into the morning light. It burns her eyes. They walk through the camp. Soldiers pause to stare. Captives stand in chained lines awaiting transport. Wagons overflow with the wealth of her destroyed kingdom. She sees her crown. The diadem lies atop a pile of looted gold and silver. The crown she wore when she addressed her people, when she led her army, when she believed courage might be enough. She does not cry. Tears are information, and Rome exploits information. She memorizes the wagon, the guards, the route. Information is the last weapon she possesses. The Roman triumph is remembered as spectacle. Poets describe golden chariots. Historians record cheering crowds. Marble reliefs preserve the image of generals painted red like gods. What they do not describe are the camps, the cells, the months. Captured royalty were not simply transported. They were processed, broken carefully. Methodically, the triumph required captives who were alive, recognizable, and obedient. Queens who could walk without collapsing, kings who would not resist, children who would not scream. Rome perfected this system over centuries. Special officials oversaw royal prisoners. Specialists understood how to destroy pride without destroying the body, how to erase identity while preserving appearance. A queen who arrived in Rome too broken was useless. A queen who arrived defiant was dangerous. The ideal captive was visibly royal and visibly defeated. Achieving that balance required time. It required expertise. It required cruelty refined into protocol. The general's tent is larger than the house Bernus grew up in. Silk hangings soften the walls. Persian carpets cover the ground. The air smells of incense. Germanicus Julius Caesar sits behind a table covered in maps. He is younger than she expected. Mid-30s, athletic, intelligent, merciless. "The Queen of Cappadocia," he says pleasantly. "I have looked forward to meeting you. Your resistance cost me 2 years and 11,000 soldiers. I defended my kingdom," Bernus replies. "You invaded it. Your kingdom no longer exists." He lets the words sink in. "Everything you were has been erased except you. I kept you alive because you are valuable." She understands now. She is not a prisoner. She is an asset. "You will dine with my officers tonight," Germanicus says. "This will be an opportunity for you to demonstrate understanding of your new position." He steps close. His hand touches her face gently. Absolute threat. "You will behave appropriately." "I understand." He smiles. She is dressed to be displayed. A gown designed to expose rather than conceal. A wig to replace the hair Rome took. Decorative chains meant to signify ownership. 12 officers recline on couches. "This," Germanicus announces, "is my gift to you." She serves wine. Hands touch her. Laughter follows. The night unfolds exactly as Rome intends. By morning, she understands the system. Survival is possible. Dignity is not. Her minder is different. Marcus Cornelius is a centurion with tired eyes and scarred hands. He explains without deception. "You have no good options," he tells her, "only less terrible ones." He speaks of survival, of cooperation, of enduring. "Some captives live," he says, "most do not." She chooses to live. The march to Rome takes months. Dinners continue, so does preparation. She learns names, weaknesses, hierarchies. Information becomes her shield. A child travels with her. Ariadne, 12 years old. Watching everything. Bernus begins to survive for someone else. Rome did not improvise cruelty, it engineered it. By the time Bernus crossed into Italy, the system that governed royal captives had existed for generations. Each conquest refined it, each rebellion improved it. Rome learned not merely how to defeat kingdoms, but how to digest them. The journey west was not transportation, it was conditioning. Every stop followed the same rhythm. The army arrived. The camp was erected. The officers dined. The captives were summoned. The hierarchy was enforced. Resistance was corrected. Compliance was rewarded just enough to reinforce the lesson. Royal captives were never treated as common prisoners. They were too valuable. Their bodies were preserved carefully. Physicians inspected them after every engagement, recording injuries with the same detachment used for cavalry horses. Bruises were acceptable. Broken bones were not. Pregnancy was documented and managed. Disease was treated promptly. The body was an asset. The mind was expendable. Bernus learned that Rome distinguished between destruction and ruin. Destruction ended usefulness. Ruin preserved function while annihilating identity. Ruin was preferred. Every interaction reinforced ownership. She was addressed by her former title only when it served humiliation. At other times, she was simply the Cappadocian. Her name was used selectively, like a privilege that could be withdrawn. Marcus Cornelius remained her assigned minder. He enforced the rules with professional precision, but he did not invent new ones. He corrected officers when they endangered her health. He intervened quietly when Varro's attention lingered too long. Varro watched, always waiting. Varro was Rome distilled into a single man. He believed in efficiency. He believed resistance was wasteful. His methods were simple: pain, repetition, inevitability. He did not enjoy cruelty. He respected it. Bernus understood that survival depended on never giving Varro justification. The dinners increased in frequency as they approached Rome. Germanicus grew impatient. Glory was near. The officers felt entitled. Victors always do. Bernus learned how to disappear while standing in the open, how to separate sensation from meaning, how to leave her body behind like an abandoned structure while her mind retreated somewhere untouchable. This was not weakness, it was adaptation. Ariadne learned too. The child listened, remembered, whispered information at night, names, affairs, rivalries, secrets that soldiers assumed no one noticed. Bernus began to understand something Rome did not anticipate. The system assumed captives were isolated. It did not anticipate solidarity. Bernus did not resist openly. She complied perfectly. That compliance made her invisible to those who expected either defiance or collapse. By the time they reached the outskirts of Rome, she was exactly what the system wanted her to be. And something else entirely, the triumph required choreography. Captives were rehearsed like performers, walking pace, posture, when to lower the eyes, when to keep the head high. Roman officers practiced humiliation with the same seriousness they practiced battle formations. Bernice was instructed to walk with dignity, not pride. Dignity made the defeat legible. She was dressed in preserved royal regalia. Not for her sake, for Rome, Germanicus wanted the crowd to recognize what had been conquered. On the eve of the triumph, Marcus delivered the final instruction. "You will live." The words carried no triumph, only fact. "Tiberius has decided execution would be inefficient. You will serve better alive." Bernice absorbed this without reaction. She already understood the price. She would become evidence, propaganda, a lesson. She accepted it because acceptance preserved Ariadne. Acceptance preserved memory. Rome could not erase everything if someone remembered. The triumph lasted one day. The captivity lasted a lifetime. Bernice walked through Rome in chains as thousands cheered her destruction. She did not stumble, she did not beg, she did not collapse. That disappointed some of them. Others noticed. Antonia Minor noticed. After the procession, Bernice did not descend into the Tullianum. She was taken to a villa on the Palatine Hill. She was fed well, given clean rooms. Treated as a guest who could not leave, she was useful now. She wrote letters at Roman dictation. She advised administrators on Cappadocian politics. She identified leaders who pretended loyalty while planning resistance. Each word she gave Rome bought safety for Ariadne. Each betrayal hollowed her further. She did not pretend otherwise. Survival was not redemption. It was continuation. Ariadne grew, learned, was freed. Bernice aged quietly. She wrote histories Rome would never preserve officially. She taught what she remembered. She preserved names, customs, stories, fragments. Marcus visited when he could. He watched the girl grow. He watched Bernice become something unrecognizable to her former self, yet undeniably alive. Years passed. Rome moved on. Bernice did not. She died without ceremony, without title, without acknowledgement. But she had done what Rome could not tolerate. She endured. She passed something forward. She proved that even inside the most refined machinery of domination, humanity could still be smuggled through the cracks. The triumph ended. The empire forgot. Survival remained.